Listen to Mike Shilt's post-game comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
Back here at Petco Park, final score here tonight, the Rockies 4 and the Padres 2 as the Padres drop the second game of this four-game series to Colorado. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park on this Friday evening as we welcome you into our post-game coverage. Padres dropped to 80-68. The Rockies improved to 41-107 on the season. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. We have all the radio highlights, full game recap for you coming up as well. But to really boil it down here tonight, this was about the Padres offense. We'll get into J.P. Sears, what he did, the problems he had in the fourth inning. But the reality here tonight is this. J.P. Sears gave up 4 runs on back-to-back home runs in the fourth inning. And the Padres were facing a right-hander in Tanner Gordon that not only came into this game with a 6.5+ ERA in 12 starts, but the Padres just saw him on Sunday in Colorado. They put up 6 runs against him in 3 2/3 innings, got 3 home runs against him from Manny Jackson and Gavin Sheets. But here tonight, it was just a totally different story. Tanner Gordon going 6 innings, 1 run given up. The only run he allowed was the Manny Machado home run in the first inning. From that point through the end of the 6th inning, Tanner Gordon did not allow another base runner. So again, through 6 innings and 1 run, 6 innings of 1-run ball here tonight for Tanner Gordon, he allowed 1 base runner, and it was the Manny Machado solo home run in the first inning. So that was the problem in the first 6 innings against the starter Tanner Gordon. And then the Padres really squandered some big opportunities late against what should be a vulnerable Rockies bullpen. Hey, I'm on the radio here. I'm on the radio. Thank you. Against a vulnerable Rockies bullpen. It's okay. He's okay. Okay. Back. Okay. Sorry, we had a visitor here, and I didn't know what was going on. Let me regroup here for a second. 6 innings for Tanner Gordon and 1 run given up on the Manny home run. Padres then had opportunities in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. 2 on in the 7th inning, they didn't score. 2 on in the 8th inning, they didn't score. And then in the 9th inning, they get the first 2 runners on. They end up scoring the second run of the game for them on a ground out to make it 4-2. But Ryan O'Hearn, representing the winning run at the plate with the tying runs on base, he strikes out against Victor Vodnik, and that was it here tonight. So again, you boil it down. I know J.P. Sears didn't have a great outing, but the Padres only had 2 runs on 5 hits in this game. And you look at this homestand to this point, the Padres have a grand total of 11 runs in 5 games. That's 2.2 runs per game against the Reds and the Rockies on this homestand. In the last 2 days in particular, it was 2 runs yesterday. They won the game, and just 2 runs here tonight. And you're hoping the Padres can do more against what you would imagine is a very hittable Rockies pitching staff and a very hittable starting pitcher here tonight in Tanner Gordon. So, look, we'll get into it in the game recap with J.P. Sears and what happened there. But the bottom line is this. I mean, it's hard to win games if you're only scoring a run or 2 per game, and that is the way it's been for the most part on this homestand. And unfortunately, the offensive issues for the Padres continued here tonight against the starting pitcher in Tanner Gordon that you would imagine they should be able to handle. So if you've been having concerns about the Padres offense, I don't know that they were soothed with what happened here tonight. And hey, you don't want to lose games to this Rockies team, a team that came in with 107 losses on the season. So to me, this is about the offense tonight, unfortunately, and we'll see if the Padres can kick the offense into a higher gear tomorrow. When we return, we'll continue our post-game coverage. Again, the final score here tonight in Game 2 of this 4-game set, the Rockies 4 and the Padres 2. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network.
Imagine having fresh bottled water
Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue our post-game coverage here on the Padres Radio Network. Still a lot to do. We'll hopefully be able to hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Coming up a little bit later, we'll have our full game recap, radio highlights coming for you in just a little bit. Our daily awards, get some of your phone calls coming up later as well as the Padres fall by a final score of 4-2 on this Friday evening. Rockies even up this 4-game series at a game apiece. 2 more games remaining in this series tomorrow and Sunday before the Padres hit the road for New York and Chicago. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about the upcoming road trip, and we'll certainly do that. Again, the Padres dropped to 80-68. The Rockies improved to 41-107 on the year. Let's just take a quick look at some of the scores of note. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later. Dodgers and the Giants right now tied in the 9th inning at 1 in San Francisco. Mets did lose tonight 8-3 against the Rangers, and taking a look at some other notable scores that the Padres would care about. Cubs beat the Rays 6-4. The Reds are trailing the A's 3-0 in Sacramento in the 8th inning. All right, let's recap this game from start to finish, tell you how it went down tonight here at Petco Park.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Left-hander J.P. Sears took the mound for the Padres in the top of the first inning. He struck out 2 in a 1-2-3 opening frame. In the bottom half, righty Tanner Gordon took the mound for the Rockies. He got the first 2 outs, but then it was Manny Machado.
3-2 hammered to deep left field. Oh boy, Manny got him again, and it's another really long one. Out to the golf ball in left field. Machado's 24th of the year, and the Padres take a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning.
Nice moment for Manny. Snapped an 0-for-16 skid for him. The score stayed 1-0. Sears was great early on. 3 scoreless innings, 7 strikeouts against the Rockies, but then came the top of the 4th inning. Sears allowed 2 singles to start the frame. He got the first out on a sac bunt and then struck out Ezekiel Tovar. There were 2 on and 2 out for a guy that had just come up from AAA earlier in the day. That was Blaine Krim.
Swings at the first pitch, hits it in the air to deep left field. Laureano's back to watch this one, gonna go. First major league hit for Blaine Krim, and a 3-run homer to the second deck in left field to give the Rockies a lead. It's 3-1.
So Krim, the 3-run home run to make it 3-1. Kyle Farmer was next for Colorado.
Now Kyle Farmer puts a charge into one. Deep to left center field. Merrill is back and gone. A home run. Back-to-back jacks for Krim and Farmer. And all of a sudden, it's the Rockies 4 and the Padres 1.
Sears would pitch into the 5th inning until he was replaced by Ron Marinaccio, but the Padres' issue was they just couldn't get anything going against Rockies righty Tanner Gordon. He finished the 6th inning only having allowed the solo home run to Manny Machado. That was the only base runner allowed. Padres still trailed 4-1. Go to the bottom of the 7th inning. They finally got more going against Gordon. Luis Arraez hit a leadoff single. Manny Machado walked. The Rockies then went to reliever Juan Mejia. Mejia retired Gavin Sheets, Ramon Laureano, and Jackson Merrill to get out of the inning. Ron Marinaccio, who replaced J.P. Sears in the 5th inning, pitched into the top of the 8th inning. He would get 9 outs. Wandy Peralta completed a scoreless top of the 8th. Padres still trailed 4-1. Going bottom 8, the right-hander Mejia. Back to work for Colorado. Ryan O'Hearn single. Jake Cronenworth walked. Rockies then brought in righty Jimmy Herget. Padres pinch hitter Will Wagner grounded into a double play. Herget struck out Fernando Tatis Jr. Hey, how you doing? I'm on the radio. Yes. And the Padres did not score. Thank you very much. Nice seeing you. All right. Through 8 innings, Padres still trailed 4-1. We went to the top of the 9th inning. Padres got through it, kept it a 4-1 game. We went bottom half of the 9th inning. Rockies right-hander Victor Vodnik came on for Colorado. Padres once again had a major rally going in the late innings in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Manny Machado, a one-out single. Gavin Sheets, a one-out double to put runners on second and third. Ramon Laureano then grounded out. That did score Manny to make it 4-2. Jackson Merrill walks. So the Padres trailing 4-2, bottom half of the ninth inning. Winning run at the plate in the form of Ryan O'Hearn. It was Vodnik against O'Hearn with the game on the line.
Vodnik ready to pitch, and a swing and a miss. The game is over. Another changeup and a strikeout to ice it as the Rockies even this series with a 4-2 win. They score at Petco Park for the first time this year, and they win at Petco Park for the first time this year.
And that was that here tonight. Final score, the Rockies 4 and the Padres 2. Final totals here tonight. Rockies 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. The Padres 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. The winning pitcher here tonight for Colorado was Tanner Gordon. He was great. Tip of the cap to him. He improves to 6-6. Losing pitcher JP Sears, who drops to 8-11. And the save went to Victor Vodnik for Colorado, his 8th of the season. Padres again dropped to 80-68. The Rockies improved to 41-107. When we come back, we'll continue to break this one down, and much more to come on our post-game coverage. This is the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening.
Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score here tonight, the Rockies 4 and the Padres 2. Final totals again for the Rockies, 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. And for the Padres, 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. And again, I said it a little bit earlier, and we're going to hear from Mike Shildt in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. I said it a little bit earlier. I'll say it again. I understand if there's frustration about J.P. Sears tonight and the 2 home runs he gave up in the 4th inning. I get that. He didn't necessarily put the offense in a terrific spot tonight when they were trailing 4-1 at the end of 3.5 innings. However, unfortunately, tonight was a continuation offensively of really what we've seen with this team on this homestand and too often as of late where they're just not generating much offense. I mean, you look at the run totals on this homestand, 4 runs in 10 innings on Monday night. And after that, the last 4 games, it's been 2 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, 2 runs. That's a grand total of 11 runs in 5 games. I mean, that's averaging just more than 2 runs per game. And even against a team like the Rockies, that's a tough way to live. I mean, I get the Rockies are 41-107 now, but this is a team that can hit a little bit and has some pop. And look, they have won 40 games, so it's not like they're going to lose every single night. And it is a tough way to live when you're only scoring 2 runs per game. And here tonight, there were really 2 issues offensively for the Padres. Number 1, they struggled against Tanner Gordon, who was great tonight and just a totally different guy than what we saw on Sunday in Denver. He went 6 innings, 1 earned run given up, gave up 1 hit in the first 6 innings, 1 base runner in the first 6 innings, and that was Manny Machado hitting the home run in the first inning against him. After that, he retired 16 in a row through the end of the 6th inning. That's before he gave up the single and the walk to begin the 7th inning and then got taken out of the game. So problem number 1 offensively tonight was Tanner Gordon really stymieing the Padres in this game offensively, totally, aside from 1 swing from Manny Machado, which was certainly a good thing to see from him. And then the second problem was this. The Padres went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position in this game. They had 2 on in the 7th inning, didn't score. 2 on in the 8th inning, didn't score. And by the way, 2 on with nobody out in both those innings, did not score. And then had 2 on with 1 out in the 9th inning and only got 1 run and ended up having the winning run at the plate in Ryan O'Hearn with the tying runs on base and could not find a way to get that big swing or 2 to ultimately tie this game and take a lead. So again, you put the offensive issues into 2 buckets here tonight. Number 1, not doing a lot against Tanner Gordon. Number 2, issues with runners in scoring position in the final 3 innings of this game. And hey, we said it in the pregame today. Our second key to today's game was runners in scoring position. Padres in their last 4 games now are just 1 for 26 with runners in scoring position. So despite winning yesterday, that has been a real struggle for them in the last 4 games. And again, you look at it, 11 runs in this 5-game homestand, or it's a 7-game homestand, the first 5 games of it so far. They're just offensively not getting a whole lot going right now. And especially the last couple of days against the pitching staff and some starters and against the team that you certainly expect they should be able to get some offense going against. And unfortunately, even with winning yesterday, that really hasn't happened and certainly cost them in a major way here tonight. Let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Just a little note on it. We had to retrieve the audio a little bit of a different way today, so you may not hear all the questions super well, but you should be able to hear Mike Shildt loud and clear. So just that little note for you as we get ready to hear from Mike Shildt. Let's go downstairs and hear from the Padre manager.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Gave yourself some opportunities at the end, but there's quite a few issues in the team. What was the difference with Gordon tonight?
Yeah, a couple things there. Gordon was good, both him and Brown, just, different climate. Those guys were attacking the zone, good stuff. It looks like they were, I'll look at it later, but from the side, done in a while, it looked like they were hitting their spots. Goodwin wasn't moving his glove a whole lot. Controlling counts, we just couldn't get him rhythm going with him tonight. As we got better, in the seventh, we put some attention to him, and couldn't scratch in the seventh or eighth. And the ninth, we had it a couple opportunities too, and got one run, but just have the productive outs. Didn't happen tonight. The outs we made are able to get through and open it up a little bit or get tied.
What do you see from the offense? There have been a few times where you thought maybe some adjustments could be made. The quality of bats.
No, there's a couple of times adjustments have been made. And you're right, there's some adjustments can always be made. Listen, hard to articulate this, but, these guys they want it so bad. They're dedicated in their preparation, and man, they want it bad. And, like them to let the game come to them a little bit more. You can feel everybody in the atmosphere is wanting it really badly. But, just easier said than done, but really it's just about the consistency of the at-bats. And, look at the lineup's more than capable. You can debate where guys hit. It really, it can matter to a point, but it really just matters if we're going to take consistent at-bats, with the length of the lineup that we have. So, and I'm completely confident in the lineup. Third baseman had a pretty good day too.
Yes. You want to talk about that now? What that is to see Manny throw a couple balls? Yeah,
it just doesn't surprise me, right? The one thing that I haven't said recently with the questions that I understandably get is the consistency that he's had for us all year. Well, it gets to a point in the season where they say, well, this guy's definitely not going to beat us. And not to say that hadn't been the case earlier, but man, he's gone through a stretch where he's pitched exceptionally tough, and he was able to get some balls he could put swings on tonight. Made another great play defensively too.
I think I heard you say that these guys want it so bad, and that maybe you would like to see them let the game come to them.
Yeah, just listen. I can just see guys are they're hungry, man. It's a hungry group. I love this group. I have full complete confidence. I can't be more excited about this team. I just can't. And the opportunities we have, and and a lot of the things that I communicate stay within the clubhouse. But the one thing that I would like to appreciate is the fact how much they care and how hard they're going at it. And, it's a challenging game, and I just want them to continue to get back and create an atmosphere here where we can just enjoy it, a little bit more. And it's a chicken egg proposition, right? You want to have the success, but I had the privilege of seeing every day how this group comes in, how they prepare, how they're dedicated. We have our ball talk and talk about what we're going to do. It's outstanding, and it's just a matter of continue to stay in the fight and have the consistent at bats. But we're in a good spot, and I get the privilege of being able to see it, and I'm excited about it.
What did you see from Sears tonight, particularly first three innings?
I thought he was fantastic. Gosh darn, 8 punch outs, filling the zone up, ball was going where he wanted to. The inning starts off something soft, then a tough play, and but he gets a contact guy in Tovar, and went out and made some really, really good pitches and got the big punch out there. He just got a sweeper that ran right into his barrel, and that was it. But otherwise, I thought it was tremendous. He was rhythm good, focus good, execution, just a couple of hits and make one bad pitch and made it back.
The offense for one more. You've had some kind of standout performances for guys on this homestand.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, Louise, but haven't necessarily stacked them together in the same game. Is there anything to do to get that together?
Yeah, just kind of what I was talking to Ace about, and just explaining. It's just the consistency of the quality of bat throughout, and continue to do what the game calls for. And that's easier said than done some days, but that really is what's going to happen. This offense is just too talented not to put put something together more consistently, and we'll do that. And also, you got to give a really hats off to Marinaccio too for high in 3 innings and kept it right there. Him and Wandy, man, that was fantastic. You know, we gave up 4 runs, and that was, you know, good job by both those guys to keep it there, give us a chance, give us a swing to tie it.
I did want to ask you about Marinaccio. He was this guy in spring training, kind of really impressed. It's been up and down. Just briefly, what have you seen in terms of the growth, or what has he shown you his last couple of times here?
Every time he's pitched, he's done a nice job, really. You know, his ability to hold it right there. He's been able to hold, you know, the lead when we've had a bigger lead late. Tonight, down 3, and kept it right there for three innings. And gosh darn, man, you know, fastball for strikes, the slider's good, cutter, whatever you want to call it, and he's got a change up that he can mix in too. So, you know, the biggest thing is he's aggressive in the strike zone, makes a lot of quality pitches consistently.
I've always thought that baseball has this mystical quality to it. When you're playing well, balls find the holes,
Yeah.
things going south, and the play in the 9th inning, the ground ball double play is a perfect example of it. If you're going well, that ball finds a hole. Instead, it's hit right on the screws, and it's right at the shortstop for a double play.
Yeah, Barry, you know, I kind of feel similarly, you know, and it can run one way or the other, and, you know, who can explain it. And sometimes you just play games you don't really notice over a period of stretch. But, yeah, I can recognize that being true. I mean, we got the matchup we liked right there. We like lefties on Herget, and, you know, Will went in and took a great at-bat, was all over him the whole at-bat. And, you know, he's a high ground ball guy against righties, and, you know, that right-handed options are high ground ball hitters. And you go in, and Will's not an overly ground ball guy, and he's definitely not a ground ball guy against lefties, and he had an absolute bullet, you know, and right at him. And if that goes probably 3 feet either way, as hard it was hit, you know, we're looking at, you know, 1st and 3rd and 4-2 and tidy up with nobody out. And that's the thing about, you know, me and Ace were talking about this the other day just before the game. That's the beauty of the game, and that's the thing that can be frustrating about the game of baseball, because it's the sport that, you know, you can make all the decisions you want that put you in a good spot. You can go do things, especially hitting a baseball. You can hit it, you can square it up just like Will did, and next thing you know, it's 2 quick outs. But, you know, I was the first one to go put my arm around and tell me he had a great at-bat.
Yeah, and from your point earlier, I think that the harder you push, the harder it is to get out of it. But something happens and it just switches.
Yeah, that's right. You know, but you make your own luck. And the one thing that, you know, listen, you know, we have high standards here, but in our last 7 games, you know, you mentioned last night about a stretch. Last 7 games were 4-3.
Right.
You know, you go 6-4. You know how many wins that is over the course of a season? It's 96. All right, so that's why I'm always talking about not getting too high or too low. And last 7 games, 4-3, and we've been in the 3 games we haven't won, and we fought like crazy. So, you know, I feel good about how we're doing it and how we're going about it and where we're going to end up. Very good about that, actually.
All right, that was Padres manager Mike Shildt following today's 4-2 loss for the Padres against the Colorado Rockies. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is now open with a Lux Hotel Tower, rooftop pool, spa, and a long list of amazing amenities. You'll have more ways to play and enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll chew on a couple of things that Mike Shildt had to talk about there. We'll talk more about this offense and I suppose the level of concern about the offense and what has been going on as of late, and kind of take more of a macro look at it. We'll get into our daily awards. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. If you want to get a phone call in, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call if you want to get involved. Again, the final score is the Rockies even up this 4-game series at a game apiece. The Rockies 4 and the Padres 2 on the Padres Radio Network.
Hey, my friends, it's Woodsy. You ever want to
on in San Francisco tonight. Giants win it 5-1 on the Bailey walk-off grand slam, and the Padres lose here 4-2. And again, we'll get to the full out-of-town scoreboard later and give you a final look at what the standings look like at the end of tonight. But right here, right now, let's get into our daily awards. Let's tell you about tonight's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
I'll tell you what, there was a lot to like on the Padres side of things tonight, relief-wise. If you want to pick a positive from this ball game, to me, it is the bullpen. Ron Marinaccio was great. 3 scoreless innings. Wandy Peralta was great, inning and 2/3 scoreless. And we'll give it to Marinaccio, who replaced J.P. Sears in the 5th inning, pitched into the 8th inning, and put up 3 scoreless innings. He was remarkably efficient, 33 pitches. He pounded the strike zone, 27 for strikes. And Marinaccio and Peralta did 2 things in this game for me. Number one, they made sure that the Padres did not have to burn too much of their bullpen at all on a day where Sears only went 4 1/3. And also, they kept the Padres offense right in this game. I mean, 4 2/3 combined scoreless innings between Marinaccio and Peralta. And, those guys, they kept the offense right in the game to go and score 3 runs to tie it, 4 runs to take a lead, and they couldn't do it. So tonight is not on Marinaccio. It's not on Peralta. Those guys did their job, and we'll give relief pitcher of the game to Marinaccio for going 3 scoreless innings. Manny Machado had a nice night, and I do want to talk about Manny a little bit. He had the home run in the 1st inning. That was good to see. He had a base hit in the 9th inning. Again, this is what Manny's expected to do. He's that kind of player. However, you probably know it has been a real struggle for him over the course of the past month and a half, and certainly the past 4 games where he took an 0 for 4 in 4 consecutive games. So Manny playing well tonight. Hopefully a sign of things to come. Again, another positive from an otherwise frustrating game here tonight. Manny also played good defense in this game. Let's hear tonight's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
0-2 grounded sharply to third. Manny lunging towards the line, has it, throws from his knee across the diamond in time to end the inning. Manny Machado doing Manny Machado things over at the hot corner, and a 1-2-3-6 for Ron Marinaccio.
Really, really nice play by Manny Machado, who made a few really nice plays in this game. That was a good one. Dove to his right, threw from a knee across the diamond. Perfect throw, sort of a vintage Manny Machado kind of play, and that was tonight's catch of the game. Hey, it was a good day for Manny. Had the home run, had a single, hit the ball hard a couple of times, played good defense, so that was good to see for Manny. Hopefully a sign of things to come for him. Let's talk more about the Padres offense as we go through the heart of the order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the heart of the order. Presented by Palomar Health, the official healthcare provider of 97.3 The Fan. Palomar Health, leading with heart for every patient. Palomar Health is reimagining healthcare.
Part of the order here tonight, Manny Machado, Gavin Sheets, and Ramon Laureano. Manny went 2 for 3 with a home run, 2 runs scored. Gavin Sheets went 1 for 4 with a double, and Ramon Laureano took an 0 for 4. Ramon's hit a little bit of a skid here, first skid he's had as a Padres, so kind of an up and down day for the middle of the order, the heart of the order, 3, 4, 5 spots. Manny 2 hits, including the home run. Sheets 1 for 4, and Laureano an 0 for 4 here tonight. That's how the heart of the order looked for the Padres in this one. And before we get to the out-of-town scoreboard and take if your phone calls if you want to get them in at 833-288-0973 here on our post-game coverage on the Padres Radio Network. I know we've talked a lot about the offensive struggles here tonight, and I just want to, talk a little bit more about it. Look, I do think it's fair to be concerned about the way the offense looks right now. I think what's interesting to me, and I said I would talk about it in a more macro sense, what's interesting to me about what's going on with the offense right now is that the concern this year hasn't, to me, so much always been about the offense as a whole as much as it's been about just the lack of power, right? The lack of slug. And it's no secret, the Padres have not been a home run hitting team all year. They're second to last in home runs in baseball in the major leagues this season. It's just not the offense they've been. And with that said, they're firmly in a postseason spot right now. If the season ended today, they've won 80 games and looks like there's a pretty good chance, as long as they do what they should do, that they win over 90 games. So despite not being a power hitting team, they've been a really good team. The last handful of days, especially, just not a lot going on offensively. It's not a lot of rallies. And again, I think that it would be one thing if you were facing elite starting pitching the last handful of days, but here are the starters the Padres have faced lately. It was Tanner Gordon tonight. It was McCade Brown yesterday. And by the way, the Padres, didn't get anything against the Rockies bullpen yesterday. They only got one run against them here today. This is not a good Rockies pen. Andrew Abbott's great, and he pitched well on Wednesday. The red starters were better in Littell and Lodolo, but let's just focus on the last two games because it follows a pretty quiet offensive series against Cincinnati, and the Padres only have 2 runs in the first 2 games of this series, and it's been rather quiet. The lack of slug has been on display on this homestand. And look, I think it's fair to be a little bit concerned because it almost feels like if the offense were to perform like this next month, your pitching can be really, really good, but it's going to be hard to beat the really great teams in the National League if the offense looks like this. Now, again, the hope to me is that it doesn't. You've certainly got the names in this lineup where it shouldn't look like that, and you hope it doesn't look like that. But in an overall sense, it's been sort of a weird handful of days here for the offense, and there have been some other, periods of that over the course of the last month or so now, really going back to that series in LA where the Padres got swept. So look, again, more macro sense, I think what's concerning and a little frustrating right now is that, tonight their lineup from an offensive standpoint is as solid 1 through 9 as it's been all year. Now they don't have Bogarts in it, so I shouldn't say that, but you look at it here tonight: Tatis, Arise, Machado, Sheets, Laureano, Merrill, O'Hearn, Cronenworth, Fermin. There's really not a hole in that lineup at any spot. And for a second straight night against the pitching staff that you feel like they should be able to handle, it just didn't go that way. So I got to hope this offense turns it around and shows you a little momentum before the postseason rolls around. That would seem to be important. Not that you can't, I guess, flip the switch when it gets to October, but it would seemingly give you a little bit of a better feeling about what they can be offensively if they can do that in the final week and a half, 2 weeks of the regular season, because certainly this homestand, it's been pretty quiet for the offense. When we come back, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll take a final look at the standings at the end of tonight, play of the game, and we'll take any phone calls you got. 833-288-0973, phone number to call. Final score, Rockies 4, Padres 2 on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. Brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place.
Say it's got the fire. Come on down, come on down.
Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, Rockies 4 and the Padres 2. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard tonight.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Everything has gone final today across the major leagues. Cubs beat the Rays 6-4 in Chicago. The Phillies beat the Royals 8-2 in Philadelphia. Nationals beat the Pirates 6-5 in Washington, D.C. Blue Jays beat the Orioles 6-1 in Toronto. Guardians blanked the White Sox 4-0 in Cleveland. Marlins beat the Tigers 8-2 in Miami. Yankees over the Red Sox 4-1 at Fenway Park tonight. Aaron Judge home run in that game for the Yankees. Rangers beat the Mets 8-3 in New York. Astros beat the Braves 11-3 in Atlanta. Twins beat the Diamondbacks 9-8 in Minnesota. Brewers beat the Cardinals 8-2 in Milwaukee. A's beat the Reds 3-0 in Sacramento. Mariners beat the Angels 2-1 in Seattle. And finally, like we told you about, Patrick Bailey walk-off grand slam in the bottom half of the 10th inning for the Giants as they beat the Dodgers 5-1 tonight in San Francisco. So, with all that, here is how things look at the end of tonight. And man, oh man, in the NL wildcard standings, they are getting really interesting. Let's begin with the NL West. Padres don't lose ground on the Dodgers because they lost. I suppose that's a silver lining from tonight. However, you're also sitting here looking at it still as the Dodgers continue to scuffle and saying if the Padres would just play a little bit better, this division would be theirs. Okay, enough of that. They're 2.5 games back of the Dodgers at the end of tonight. Remember, Padres don't hold the tiebreaker between those two teams. The Padres stay 2.5 back in the NL West. As far as the wild card, this is where, this is getting crazy. Padres sit in the second wild card spot. Mets lost tonight. Their 7th consecutive loss. They are scuffling beyond belief. Padres are 4 games up on the Mets. The Padres trail the Cubs by 4.5 games for the first wild card spot. But then, on the outside looking in, you have the San Francisco Giants, who are now a half game behind the New York Mets for the final wild card spot. And the Reds, who lost tonight, they stay a game and a half back. So again, the Mets, who at one point not all that long ago led the NL East, they have a half-game lead on the Giants, game and a half lead on the Reds, and the Padres 4.5 up on the Giants and 5.5 up on the Reds. So if the season ended tonight, Padres would go to Wrigley Field in Chicago for a best-of-3 wild card series. And it looks like, if you look at all the scenarios right now, that would appear to be the most likely scenario for the Padres. Now, if the Padres go win the division, then everything changes. Padres would host a wild card series here and play, in all likelihood, the 6th seed, be the 3 seed in the postseason. So we're a long ways away from that. What you need to know right now, 2.5 games back in the division behind the Dodgers without the tiebreaker, and the Padres comfortably, I would still say, sitting in the NL second wild card spot. But everything after that is up for grabs now. Giants a half game behind the Mets, Reds game and a half behind the Mets with plenty of baseball left to play. Final score here tonight, Rockies 4, Padres 2. Let's hear our play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Swings to the first pitch, hits it in the air to deep left field. Laureano's back to watch this one, gonna go. First major league hit for Blaine Prim, and a 3-run homer to the second deck in left field to give the Rockies a lead. It's 3-1.
Yeah, quite a moment for Blaine Prim. Unfortunately, our play of the game, but it's got to be that way tonight. 3-run home run against J.P. Sears. Moments later, Kyle Farmer hit a home run to go back-to-back, make it 4-1, and the Rockies go on to win by a final score of 4-2. How about this, though? For Blaine Prim, it was his first major league hit and his first major league home run. So congratulations to Blaine Crim, even though it came at the expense of the Padres, his first major league hit and his first major league home run. I shouldn't have said, well, I guess I can say congratulations, right? You get what I mean. I'm not saying it was a good thing for the Padres, but hey, the guy had his first major league hit and major league home run. Man, it was a big one tonight for the Rockies as they beat the Padres. I do want to say one more thing about the out-of-town scoreboard and the Giants. I'll say this about the Giants' run here. I'm stunned that they have done this. I really am. I mean, if you go back and you think about the way they looked just a little less than a month ago when the Padres played them 7 times within a week and a half, and they got swept, and then they lost 3 out of 4. I mean, the Padres handled them in that 7-game stretch against them over the course of about a week and a half. 1 series in San Francisco, 1 series here in San Diego. I mean, they didn't hit well and pitch particularly well. Their defense was sloppy. But right after that is when they started to just get red hot, really going back to August 23rd, and it's continued. So, again, I didn't see it coming based on the way they were playing against the Padres last month. I really didn't. So I suppose credit to them because they did not seem like a team when the Padres were playing them capable of doing this, capable of getting back into the race the way they have. I mean, they're more than just back in the race. I mean, they're knocking on the door. I mean, they're about to take that final spot, half game behind the Mets. So I'll be honest, I'm stunned based on the way they looked when the Padres played them, but they've totally turned around their second half of the season. And now they've got a very, very real chance to be a postseason team, but still with a lot of baseball left to play. Taking a look ahead to tomorrow's game, it'll be the 3rd game of this 4-game series between the Padres and the Colorado Rockies. Pitching matchup tomorrow: on the mound for the Padres, right-hander Dylan Cease. On the mound for the Rockies, right-hander Bradley Blaylock. First pitch tomorrow at 5:40, and our pregame coverage will begin at 4:40. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can always go back and listen to any or all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game coverage in video form there as well. Final totals here tonight for the Rockies: 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. They left on 6. For the Padres, 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors. They left on 5. Winning pitcher tonight, Tanner Gordon, who improves to 6-6. Losing pitcher, J.P. Sears, who drops to 8-11. The save goes to Victor Vodnik, who improves to his 8th save of the season. Time of game tonight, 2 hours and 27 minutes, and the crowd here at Petco Park tonight, it was the 64th sellout of the season here in downtown San Diego on a Friday night. 40,014 in the building here tonight. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 5:40. Pregame coverage begins at 4:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Bobby Sharton, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. Again, the final score here tonight: the Colorado Rockies 4 and the San Diego Padres 2. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.